Hey, what's up, ecosystem? Jay at Auto Transport Intel here. It is Wednesday. It is noon Central Time. That means it is time for DOT Compliance with your DOT guy, Brian Riker. We're going to look at regulations, FMCSA, DOT, IRP, IFTA, trailer, CDL, etc. If you've got a question, Brian has an answer. We invite you to jump in the live chat. What's going on, David? What's going on, Devin? And please do feel free to say hello. We're going to keep this show moving. Brian is out on location, so we got him by audio only, but we'll try to get through a show as normal. Please do leave a like. Remember to share, copy, and tell your friends. Let them know that there's this YouTube channel where we talk about DOT compliance. This is not the show where we talk about how to make money car hauling. Rather, we talk about how to spend money car hauling. And trucking in general. It's not a fun subject, but it is important. Don't forget, you can go to autotransportintel.com, click on sign up, become an ATI insider, talk to Ty in carrier relations. We know everybody's recruiting drivers. We also know that more drivers are going over to freight, so we might touch upon those topics as well. Without further ado, it is time to add Brian Riker, your DOT guy. Oh, it's just me on the screen. That's right. Hey, what's up, Brian? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Jay. My blood pressure's what's up, but we're good.
Yeah, well, but you're out on the road. That's typical, right?
Like I said, guys, I do what you do. I'm actually dropping a car hauler trailer at a dealership as we're speaking, running way behind schedule, just like happens to you guys.
Right. That's right. Hey, that's right. Add an ELD. What could go wrong?
Well, the good news is, as a drive-away fella, I'm still allowed to run paper. So I can rub that in.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
No kidding. So
that's one thing they got right with the rules is because they can't expect you to install an ELD in a truck that you're only moving. We get away without having an ELD in the drive-away transport segment.
No kidding. I didn't realize that. Also, hey, John at Finest Towing and Recovery is with us. He says, great show last night. Thank you, John. Thanks for tuning in. Last night we had...
I hope his move to Florida went well.
Yeah, hey, John, how did your move to Florida go? Please let us know in the live chat. Danny B is here. What's going on? And Vlad is with us. What's going on? So we have the usual crowd shuffles in. It's just like that Billy Joel song.
9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Exactly. It's noon.
You don't want me singing on the show, dude.
I don't know. I think everybody wants to join in and sing, it's Wednesday on a noontime.
It's noon on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I love this. Yes.
And the motor carrier officer looked the other way.
Yes. The crowd's going crazy.
Tell me, don't quit my day job, right, amigo?
I don't know. I think, honestly, this is exactly what everybody needed. I'll tell you, here's what we're going to do. Now, you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm going to roll this clip, and I'm going to just describe it, and then everybody else can watch it. It's a Runaway trailer. There's this weird clip we're watching right now of it's a trailer running down the road and a truck driving after it. Now, it's just a little one-horse, short little thing hauling cardboard, but the trailer hitch. Have you ever heard of a trailer ending up in front of a truck?
Yes, if you don't have your hitch attached properly.
Okay. So do hitches break, or is it a fact it wasn't attached properly? Because, in fact, when the truck pulls over, we can see that there's no tow hitch.
The hitches break, but likely things weren't attached properly.
And truth is, this looks like a pretty, older setup. Somebody's... And I think they're just hauling, cardboard. So they've probably done this run, a jillion times, and finally the darn thing broke. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not well-maintained equipment.
Not well-maintained equipment. We're going to chalk that up as not well-maintained equipment. Danny says that Brian sounds tired, but happy. Hey, what's up, Carlos?
I'm actually well rested.
Oh, good.
I'm actually well rested. So, do you want me to back up and put pressure on it, Artie? You're listening to two old guys try to drop a trailer in real time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, who doesn't know what that's like, right? Tell us more.
Well, dropping these car hauler trailers can get very frustrating.
Yeah, tell us more. Give us a play-by-play.
Well, right now we've got a pin that's stuck, and it doesn't want to release the fifth wheel handle. And on a Stinger steer, there is no handle, so you're pulling on it with just a fifth wheel puller bar down below you by your feet, so you can't even get good leverage on it. And it just fights with you like crazy, guys.
Ty says, just drop it. Yeah, Ty, we need what we need is Ty. We need Ty and his GoPro like on the scene with the close up. That would be amazing. Well, that'll be the next. That'll be DOT Compliance 3.0.
Here. Yes, that'll happen on the next side. Hey, guys, this is life in the real world. This is life in the real world. So what do we got, Jay? Go ahead and give me some.
I was kind of milking it. All right. Well, of course we've got David bets that you cannot stump your DOT guy, Brian Riker. All right. Which the chances are better today now that you're underneath the trailer.
Now that I'm distracted, yes.
So that's pretty cool. Let's see.
We need a game show prize for this.
I know, we really do. Now, we had somebody, you answered this. Let's see if you can multitask, Brian. You had a question on YouTube from a previous show. The guy asked, can I get my CDL with a recently suspended license? But I'm off suspension now, though. But what do you think about that, Brian?
You can, as long as the suspension didn't have anything to do with a CDL required commercial motor vehicle. So there are serious traffic offenses that will cause you to lose your CDL. But if they don't happen in a commercial motor vehicle, they will not prevent you from obtaining your CDL permit. So it would depend on what this person's license was suspended for and reinstated for. That said, the suspension is going to make it very hard to get insurance, even if it happened because you did something in your car. And it'll make it very hard to get employed if you're just looking to get hired on somewhere. So you may want to check into that before you go through the hassle of getting your CDL to make sure that you actually can use your CDL.
I like that this came up because it seems like one of the I don't know if it's an elephant or just a dark horse or what it is, but part of the problem I think we're running into is trucking traditionally has been a career you can get into if you don't fit into normal society. Fair?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I didn't want to be way off. Okay, but that has changed.
No.
Now normal society has invaded trucking to where they expect you to be, pretty stand up and straight edge and all this stuff.
Yeah, you got to be perfect now to be a trucker, yet you're not paid like the professional you have to be. You're not treated like the professional you must be. And so it makes it difficult. And I don't want to say trucking was the career for people that couldn't do anything else, because that couldn't be further from the truth. Trucking is actually a very complicated career. But trucking was a good second chance career when nobody else would hire you. And it's just not that way anymore today.
And I appreciate that clarification. I know that I am walking through a minefield by talking like this, but I'm used to it. I mean, I think Auto Transport Intel is the one channel that it's kind of a downer. We point out a lot of the, obvious negatives, and we go ahead and talk about it. But trucking is hard, but it's also a career that, different folks. I mean, look at me. I'm here talking about auto transport. I'm also a square peg, trying to make
Yes.
a go at it, and so that's it. So that's what frustrates me about the clearinghouse, because all things lead to clearinghouse. They're definitely clearinghouse, and the CDL, protecting your CDL, seems to also be getting harder and harder to do. And then somebody was talking about the new CDL rule. It just seems like it's kind of nonstop, this merry-go-round.
Well, there's a couple of different angles to consider here with what you're saying. We can't have people that are unfit to driving large commercial vehicles, and none of us are advocating for that. That said, one mistake should not be career-ending. I mean, this is going to sound gruesome, but a doctor kills a patient accidentally on the operating table, and it doesn't end his career. So a mistake, say failing a drug test, if you go and get help to fix it later and treat your problem, that should not be career-ending. Being young and dumb and drag racing your car and getting a couple of speeding tickets from 3-4 years ago should not be career-ending. But this society has decided to cancel everybody that doesn't conform and makes the slightest mistake just once, and that has caused us some problems.
We live in a very punitive society. In fact, I just came up with a trivia question. Here's a great trivia question. Are you ready? Oh, let me get my mic.
Sure.
Get my audio going. This is a good one. This is a doozy. Fingers on the buzzers, because I got a good question. Okay. Name the very influential Vice President of the United States who in his earlier days had at least one DUI and spent time in jail. Today's world, probably impossible. But back then...
Well, our former President George H.W. Bush, president during the September 11th attacks, had just about destroyed his family and his career and everything because of a cocaine habit.
Oh, yes.
And he became president of the United States.
Interesting how the clearinghouse missed that one. And I'll mention it was his vice president, Dick Cheney, who had plenty of run-in early in his days. So, but you know, would that be possible today? Man, you wouldn't even make it past the headlines.
No. President Clinton was impeached and quite possibly was a sexual predator. And
well, that's a long list if you want to get into the presidential list on that one.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
Most people get second chances.
And that's it. Thank you. So can we get like a FMCSA.secondchances.com?
Well,
can we get that?
There are second chances in the trucking world. They're just hard to obtain. I mean,
they are.
A positive drug test is not a complete end of the world. If you complete the return to duty process with a substance abuse professional, you can go back to driving. And some of your bigger companies will even sponsor you for that.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Now, and when you talk about companies like that, I mean, are we talking, again, freight companies? If, let's say, here's a good question. Let's say you're seeking a second chance. Do you think that general freight is a better way to go in that early rehabilitation period?
Yes, there's a lot more mega carriers that will just put meat in the seat in the freight world, let you get 6 months or a year of recent driving experience, and then you can go anywhere you want again. For example, there's a well-known company that hires people that have failed drug tests after they've done their return to duty process, and people with questionable driving records and all that, called Carolina Cargo. They don't pay the greatest, but you suck it up for a year. You suck it up for a year, don't screw up, and then you move back on to a good-paying job somewhere.
Brian, you may have just named this episode. Meat.
And what is that?
Meat in the seat.
Well, that is a common thing in the trucking world.
Perfect. Perfect. In fact, that leads us into our next segment. How we doing?
Oh, we doing good. Although I'm reminded now after doing some actual manual labor that I'm way too fat to be healthy.
Oh, well, we're all struggling with something.
I apologize for the heavy breathing in our audience's ear.
I think it's great. It's really great for the show. Hey, by the way, on How We Doing, we've got, this was sent in. Okay, so we've got you can't see it, but we've got like an SUV wagon pulling a tow dolly of a semi-inoperable with a trailer hitch connected to another semi-inoperable.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think? It's kind of like that highway deal we saw a month or two ago. And he's just kind of going through a truck stop. So it's nice. Yeah.
It's very common. In fact, I passed a three-way setup like that heading south of the border this week when I've been on the road. And it annoys me. I'm not against the guys trying to come and make a living, but it annoys me because they skirt all of our regulations. They take the lot sticker from Copart or IAA and put it in the place of a license plate because it looks like a temporary registration permit. They obviously are over 10,000 pounds in combination, which would make them an interstate commercial vehicle under FMCSA regulations, because you add 3 of those cars up, and I bet you if they're not, they're darn close to 10,000 combined weight. And they skirt the regulations and go for it. And I don't understand why, because they spend so much time and money modifying those vehicles to flat tow them that for $800, $1,000, they could ship them to the Mexican border and then drive them over the border from there and not have to skirt the rules and cheat the system.
YM says government officials need to be CDL drivers for 6 months before taking office. Can I get an amen? That is actually a great idea. That would be the opposite. There's the federal clearinghouse. We already have a clearinghouse for truckers. I think we need a federal clearinghouse. Party of one.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see what else we got here. So we did that. We did the flat tow deal. Oh, here's a good one. Fritz sent in a couple photos. We got a semi way up on on a high mount. I mean, parked up on the upper deck.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen that happen over the years, and it's kind of scary.
God, what in the? I mean, how you got to get a real run and start. I mean, he's got the whole cab up there, and yeah, go ahead.
Had of that not been a car hauler with the ramp down, this probably could have been a tragic crash. It's just a matter of a truck coming upon stop traffic or vehicle parked on the shoulder and not seeing it. And if that was a box van or, heaven forbid, a line of cars, we could have another Rojal Aguilera Madera case on our hands, because fortunately all the truck drivers involved walked away because he went up the ramp instead of the trailer coming in and clearing off the top of his cab.
This guy's on the shoulder too. I mean,
yes. So I'm thinking that the truck was the car hauler was parked or broke down or loading or whatever. I don't remember the picture that clear, but the truck was stopped and the other truck hit him at highway speed, and that could have been devastating. It could have been devastating if the car hauler was in the back working on his truck or was loading or something like that. It would have been awful.
Yeah, he's empty. That is so crazy. Here's a question. Hey, Brian, passed my med certificate. I use CBD products. Will that show up? Yeah, CBD in a drug test. What's going to happen here?
If you're CDL, highly likely, and then you will get a failure. You'll get a positive drug test, and you'll have to go through that return to duty process just like everybody else. Even when they say they won't show up, they claim 0 THC. That is not controlled by any entity. It's not FDA monitored or anything like that, so there's no way to guarantee that it's not going to show up. So my advice always is no CBD products if you are a CDL holder and you want to keep your CDL and your job. We just simply, you can't be positive that it is not going to come up and affect you.
And if that doesn't work, you can always use that's not mine.
Unfortunately, and I'm not saying I condone this way or any given way, but unfortunately, this is just the way it is right now.
Let's see. Fritz also sent in, I don't care what it's towing or how he's towing it. I want to know who makes that trailer. We got a dump truck on a single car flatbed, and now the single rear wheel pulling the trailer is definitely coughing, but that little engine that could single car flatbed seems to be just fine.
Sure. I don't know anything about that one. Sorry for coughing in your ear, folks.
Hey, man. Hey, this is a trucking show. We're good. We can take anything. Hey, remember how we were saving for a house? Well, surprise. Honey, I love you.
Well, with truck parts going up, you might have to give up the house just to keep your truck on the road.
Right. Get a tiny house and a semi, and we're in trucking, sweetie pie. Let's see here.
Yes.
Oh, hey, you know what I shared? You know what I got on screen now? Is the IATA marketing of the Harding Brooks Insurance Agency. You wanna give a shout out to IATA and Harding Brooks Insurance?
Sure. In interest of full disclosure, I am a founding member of IATA. That said, I don't receive any financial compensation for anything I'm about to say, but the Harding Brooks Insurance Program is custom designed and only available to qualified car haulers. You have to have a good safety record, good drivers, been in business for, I believe it's 2 years, and then the discounts are incredible. The first couple of fleets that switched over have saved over $300,000 combined on their insurance premiums. The program is built by experts. Harding Brooks does repossession and towing insurance, and they have a safety department that is second to none that really vets and understands what's going on in the industry, and they shop for the best possible solution for you. And this is important with companies like Progressive leaving the market again in certain markets. You need an option. So, and this is also why it's important to keep your CSA score clean, hire good quality drivers, etc. Because without them, we're not going to be able to get you good insurance. We're not going to be able to underwrite that risk, and it could put you out of business. I just had a phone call from a client yesterday, a potential client that had 2 drivers make mistakes while they worked for her. The drivers no longer are employed by her, and her insurance company decided to drop her because of these 2 out-of-service violations, and that's going to cost her business because I can't get them removed from her safety record. They were legitimate violations, and the insurance company doesn't care that she terminated the drivers because, you let it happen. So in their opinion, you had bad safety management practices, and what can we tell you? But sorry, too bad. And she's having a hard time getting underwritten by any company right now, and likely is going to end up closing up her operation because of the actions of her hired drivers.
Yeah, you've hit upon this before, that you gotta be careful who you hire.
Oh, sure.
Oh, we lost him. Brian has gone away. Well, we'll see if we can get him back in. Oh, he's already here. Wow, that was fast. Oh, good. We'll hit upon this one next. As Brian enters back into the room, we've got a Brian. What we're talking about next here is FMCSA takes a step towards Under-21 apprenticeship program. How we doing?
All right. My audio quality is going to suck because my phone dropped out, but we only have 4 minutes left.
Yeah, we're good.
You may have a lousy video up my nose now, too.
Oh, I don't see you, but you're okay.
So how are we doing with that? Well, in my personal opinion, and a lot of truckers disagree with me, in my personal opinion, it's a good step in the right direction, but probably not for the reasons that it's happening. It's happening to support putting meat in the seat for long-haul, over-the-road trucking companies that can't keep anybody because of their lousy working conditions and the way they churn through drivers. Where I say it's a good idea are your vocational haulers. So I came from the background in the towing industry, and I've been driving tow trucks since I'm 17, but I couldn't legally cross the state line. And I only live 9 miles from New York and New Jersey because that's interstate commerce. I couldn't legally cross the state line because I wasn't 21 years old. You can't pull something out of the port because that's interstate commerce when you're under 21 years old, but you may just be running containers back and forth in the same city all day long. We need a common sense approach to fixing this problem without allowing young drivers that may not have the skill set yet to do long haul trucking. This is a start. And this also starts an apprenticeship program, which is something I've personally called for years, that our industry should have. Apprentice, start with some experience, move on to a slightly bigger truck, a little more freedom, and on so you have X number of hours that has you properly trained like they do it in Australia. So, well, not perfect. It's a step in the right direction.
You actually brought up a really good point about apprenticeship. You know, that used to be something that was really common in industry in days of yore. And we've gotten away from apprenticeship because we all want to be CEO next week.
Right.
And yeah, there's something to be said for being a tradesman, being an apprentice, and on-the-job training, etc. So, yeah, it's
this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
It's the same thing that Ty and I preach to the folks that call us or call you and say, "Hey, I want to start a car hauling company or a trucking company, but I know nothing about it." Well, go work for someone and learn at their experience. Work alongside a seasoned professional so that you truly know what you're doing. And it's the same concept here. And I've long supported a graduated license where we don't just get a CDL in a week and we can jump from driving our Toyota Prius to driving a tractor-trailer combination.
In fact, here, we're going to end the show here in a second, but we may have somebody watching that just sent me an email with a question, and I saw a couple red flags within the question, so I didn't highlight it. I asked them to watch the show. The question was about two brothers want to get into auto transport. Maybe we're looking at other trucking, can't remember that. But the flag that I saw was, we're thinking of putting our pickup truck to work with a 4 or 5 car trailer. And I thought, oh my gosh, so you're brand new, you're looking at your pickup truck, and you're thinking 4 to 5 car trailer. Brian, help us out.
Well, if they don't have any trucking or professional driving experience, that could be dangerous. That could be deadly from not understanding how it works. So I would strongly encourage them to make sure that they have a good mechanical background, a good solid driving foundation, and take it slow. Really, the best thing to do is work for somebody that has similar type of equipment first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was thinking too, where did you get that? I like to always ask the question, where did you get that idea? Where did they get the idea of a 4 to 5 car trailer with a pickup truck just starting out?
Yeah, well, they scare me. Although legal, they scare me because if they're not perfectly maintained on the brakes and not loaded with the perfect balance, they are very dangerous because we're pushing upwards of 30,000 pounds or more with a pickup truck in front of it. And I mean, yes, The concept is this Class 8 tractor trailer that's in front of me right now. The tractor only weighs 19,000 pounds. The cargo box weighs 60,000 pounds when it's loaded to make 80,000 pound combo. So the trailer weighs much more than the truck, same as with this pickup truck and trailer. I get it. But the difference is the air brake system is so much better at stopping than electric over hydraulic or hydraulic foundation brakes on your pickup truck and smaller trailer combination. One of my real good friends started with a pickup truck and a wedge, and I filled in on his honeymoon and drove it for him for a week. And I couldn't wait to get back in my own 7-car tractor trailer with air brakes and 22.5 tires and all of that. And at that time, I had already been driving 15, 16 years. I was a seasoned driver, and that truck still was a little scary. And it was top maintained. It was well built and not even overloading. He was only hauling Volkswagens on it. So altogether he weighed maybe 27,000 pounds, but it still was an experience to operate.
YM says electric brakes are not the best thing on 3 to 4 car trailers. Final piece of information. Washington state bill seeks to address truck parking shortage. What do you think is going to happen here?
I like this concept in Washington state because they're doing something. If this is the one I'm thinking about, they're looking at repurposing some rest areas, studying where they need other parking, maybe making a partnership with the state and local governments to provide parking. I forget exactly what they're looking at, but the important part is they're addressing the topic of truck parking because your over-the-road guys need a place to park. Yes, it's a business, and maybe paying for parking is going to be the norm in the future and the solution, but right now that is not our societal norm, and until it becomes our norm, we need to create parking for these folks.
Amen to that. It's just nice to see it in the news, and I'll tell you, more and more, OIDA's got a lot of articles that I share and we comment on, so thank you, OIDA, for that. Also, okay, fine, I guess this is the last one. Autonomous trucking stuff. I know it ain't fun, but we just keep seeing it. What should we do with these autonomous trucking articles? Skip them, read them? What should we do, Brian?
Read them and be prepared. It's not going to happen overnight, but personally, I've had some experience with autonomous vehicles already. I think it's closer than other people would believe. But as car haulers, we're going to see autonomous cars that we have to transport long before we see the trucks that are hauling them down the road. I was part of an experiment back in 2015 where we were using self-driving cars and practicing loading them off, taking them off of a rail car and loading them onto a trailer to see how much of that the car could do itself. And it was amazing how much it could. But we're going to have to learn how they work. The ones that don't even have driver controls in them, how do you load them onto your truck? Do you have the right interface on your cell phone? Do you need a technician out there to plug into it, to put it into a manual mode? Or are you going to need special sensors on your trailer so it can drive up and park itself on your trailer? Or is it just going to go away, and since it's autonomous, it's going to drive itself to the auction, to the dealer, to the new customer? We don't have answers to these questions yet, but like anything else, with the alternative fuel vehicles, electric is coming, whether we like it or not, whether it's ready or not. So we need to read and learn and educate ourselves so we're prepared when we have to start hauling these things, because we'll see it in the car market long before our trucks are replaced with it. So we need to learn about it as professional auto transporters.
Do you think the equipment will slightly change as we move into that? What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Once we get to fully autonomous trucks actually running up and down the road, and as we get these autonomous cars, you'll see them. You won't be having car pullers because the cars will drive themselves out to the truck lot for you. You may see sensors that need to be installed on your trailer so that they can park themselves on the trailer. But ultimately, once we go to a full autonomous vehicles that are reliable, they'll drive them onto the truck. Your truck won't look like a truck anymore. It'll be a little box with a battery under it that is in front of the trailer, because there is no need for a cab and heater and creature comforts for the human driver. And then your job will be to monitor, make sure it's loaded, strap the wheels down, and someone on the other end of the run to do the reverse. It's vehicles in our lifetime, in the next 30 years, are going to look radically different than they do today. Just think about what cars and trucks look like today compared to when you might have got your driver's license back in the late 80s or early 90s, being a 50-some-year-old person. Vehicles are radically different today than they were just 30 years ago.
And here, this will blow your mind. So I found this is the final piece. Transport Topics shared a level 4 autonomous vehicles expected to take hold in 2024.
Oh, sure. Too Simple just completed an 80-mile run without a human being physically in the vehicle. They had a Arizona State Police escort, and they had a safety driver in a vehicle following about 5 miles behind. But on open public roads, without any interference, this vehicle navigated itself with a simulated load. They put water ballast in the trailer, navigated itself from the starting point at a warehouse through the city streets, onto the highway, off the interstate 80 miles later, through the city streets into the next warehouse where it would have made a delivery without a single human intervention. They did not have to correct anything. They didn't have to hit the panic button. It is here, and it did it at night, not even in the daylight. It did it at nighttime, which is something we haven't been able to do well with autonomous vehicles yet. So the stuff is coming. There's going to be a time probably in my grandchildren's life where if they want to be truck drivers, there'll be safety drivers riding in a truck just to babysit the computer, or they'll be sitting in a cubicle with a fleet manager having 15 or 20 trucks that he sits and babysits, and then when it gets somewhere, he takes remote control of it like a drone pilot and backs it into a door or something like that.
All right, so if you're just tuning in, we're going to turn off the video games and step away from the DeLorean. Let's go back to current times. Sharonda says, are hotshots required to have mud flaps or just semi-trucks?
If you don't have fenders, so if you're a cabin chassis, if you're set up like a tractor and you don't have a trailer on you, yes. If you can send road spray beyond your trailer, yes. So any commercial vehicle is required to have some mechanism to deflect the road spray coming off your tires. When you're a regular tractor trailer and hooked up to your trailer, the trailer catches the crap. Your hot shot with a high wedge, like a Kaufman 3-car wedge, that stuff might blow out. You're better off to have the mud flaps, and if you drop the trailer, you're going to have the mud flaps. Now, even if you have a pickup truck body on there, I forget off the top of my head, it's either 6 or 8 inches from the ground. So if you have a pickup body that isn't at least within that range, you could be cited for not having the mud flaps. I'd have to look the regulation up off the top of my head, but short answer is yes, it's a commercial vehicle, so it needs all the safety equipment that all commercial vehicles need.
So what I did was I tried to find a link. I mean, I'm looking in the Code of Federal Regulations. It's hard to find the link quickly, but thank you for that.
It's under parts and equipment. It's under parts and equipment necessary for safe operation. I forget the number off the top of my head. It doesn't spell it out in plain English, just like the lighting regulation. You got to read the reg, then go to the table that has pictures that show you the different things. But it is in there under parts and equipment necessary for safe operation.
All right, cool. And Alex, thank you for the comment, Alex. I appreciate you guys jumping in, and I like seeing new faces, new names. We got the core, and then new people jumping in. Honestly, I'm surprised after, what do we got? 60. This is show number 52. I'm surprised after 50 shows that we're not reaching more folks in trucking, but I also know that a lot of what we share is either bad news, something you don't want to hear, you don't want to talk about. We never really talk about how rich you're going to get, but I think there's plenty of channels covering that. So we're going to just cover a lot of the bad news and stuff that you need to know to protect your CDL.
I'm hoping that our reach extends now that I'm also doing my pre-recorded, not live podcast that drops on Saturdays on the road with your DOT guy, Brian Riker.
That's
because
right.
I've been promoting the Auto Transport Intel channel and this show specifically. So hopefully we'll have some audience expansion coming across both of the shows now, and we'll see what happens, because this is great information, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the guy doing most of the speaking. This is great information that we need to get out there. So folks, please, Jay says it at the opening, I'll say it here at the closing. If you even got one little nugget of truth out of this show, click like, click share, send it to your friends that drive trucks, say hey, or even just say, hey, this guy's an idiot. Listen to him and let's pick him apart. I take criticism too. And hey, I've admitted I've made a few mistakes here and there. I'm not perfect at this. None of us are. So even if you don't like what I have to say, share it with somebody, and you guys can sit there and laugh and have a good time.
Brian, listen, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy today. I know you're out there. Did you get everything taken care of? What's next on your agenda?
Heading over to Worldwide Equipment Sales in Rockdale, Illinois, to pick up a tow truck and take it out to Sioux City, Iowa, and then fly home from there. We're off to, I thought with no inventory it was going to be a slow first quarter, but we're off and running again with sales. So, yeah, my ride should be here any minute now, and enjoy.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brian. We will see you next Wednesday at noon, where we'll be singing again.
like Willie Nelson says, on the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
I just can't wait to get on the road again with DOT
Better yet, though,
compliance.
is the Jerry Reed version with the parrot, where the bird is scamming the guys in the bar. I don't know if you've heard that one, but it's life I love is making money with my friend. I can't wait to get on the road again. He walks into a bar, a guy does, with a parrot that sings and does impersonations of Willie and Waylon and Charlie Pride, and the guy has nothing but, he's sitting there going to drink away his paycheck, so he buys the bird. As soon as the guy that had the bird walks out the door, the bird flies away, and he's running down the street chasing it. It's a cute parody that was done by Jerry Reed in the 70s of On the Road Again.
Well, everybody loves
that. Just shows you the crap I listen to.
I'm going to check that out. I just made a note.
It's called The Bird. The Bird. You can use that as the opening theme music. Actually, you can't, but
exactly.
It's funny.
I just had somebody send me a video. They're like, "Oh, this song would be a great as your intro." Oh my gosh! For Christmas kicks, I used the barking dogs jingle bells, and I got flagged. So
you
can't do anything.
If we sing even horribly, if we sing more than 15 seconds, we violate intellectual property rights, and then we got to pay royalties and everything else. So as much as we would love to, it costs us money to use a 30-second segment of a song.
Well, I don't know if Capitol Records is going to be coming after us yet, but we sure do appreciate all of the good times.
Don't worry, Capitol Records won't come after us, but the album that you and I can sing and record on will be released on Capitol Records.
Oh, hey, there we go. Let me give you a cash register noise on that one.
All right, before I do any more of this, I gotta go.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. We'll see you next week, buddy.
All right, Jay. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks. And everybody for tuning in, thank you so much for saying hello in the live chat. And yeah, if you missed last night's show, it was a great show. Transportation, location, logistics. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab the link to that. It's a long show. No doubt about it. You're going to want to skip ahead. What you can do is just put the link in the live chat to transportation, location, logistics, and there's Candy Seaport Service in there. What you can do is look when you click on these links. When you go to any of my videos, go down, not right after it's live. Like this video, I need 24 to 48 hours for it to process. But then you go in the video description, you can click on links and time codes and jump ahead. You don't have to watch all 6,000 hours of every episode, but click ahead and find the parts you like. If you're on the podcast or if you don't have the podcast, get the podcast. That's my whole point there. Get the podcast. More and more people are getting it. It's a great way to consume this long form, dry content. If there's information to be gleaned, we try to keep it fresh and informative. And please do join us tomorrow for Dispatching Live, Thursdays at noon with Sue. 90 minutes of good times. There's a lot going on with the load boards and broker software right now. Or there isn't. Actually, there isn't a lot going on, which means there is a lot of frustration. all the waiting and the moaning and the groaning, oy vey. Please join us. If you like to moan and groan, please join us tomorrow on Dispatching Live. Otherwise, thank you so much for saying hello. If you're watching on demand, please do leave a like and leave a comment, and join us tomorrow on Dispatching Live. All right, take care, everybody. We'll be back again next week on Wednesday at noon. Peace.